What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com and welcome back to another week. Geez, off to a great start. Another week of Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks. Listen, I'm smiling this week because it's going to be a much happier show. If you watched us last week, you knew I was down, depressed, however you want to call it, pissed off maybe, at what had happened. Just some brutal 4 out of 5, just some heartbreaking losses. And that's why I call it Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks, because you just never really know with these pick fives and pick fours. They're very hit and miss, and I'm sure everybody watching this knows that and realizes that. It's just crazy. Sometimes you can be spot on and still be wrong, and that's what makes them so rewarding when you hit them. Well, we've got a couple to talk about that we hit this weekend, and it's going to be fun because they were both at Oaklawn Park. That's my home track. It's where I learned to play the races, and where I had a lot of frustrations the last couple of weeks. Kind of got those demons out of the way this last weekend, so it was a lot of fun. All right, let's go first. Let me take my banner off here. Let's go first to Saturday. We'll go the late pick 5 at Oaklawn Park on Saturday. I've got the ticket up there now, a $96 ticket going 4 by 3 by 4 by, or excuse, sorry, 4 by 4 by 4 by 1 by 3. The single was Ginobili in the 5th season stakes. So that's what we were looking at here, a $96 ticket. I'll go ahead and put it down here at the bottom now so I can take that away. But you still have it, and I will bring up the results, and we'll kind of go through this as we go along here, like we always do. All right, let's do it. Rockets, here we go. All right, race 6. We went 4 deep. We got the 1 home here, a $920 payout. Pretty good start to this one, and this was a wide open race, and we'll go through race by race, don't worry, but just kind of a comment at first. It was a wide open race, and kind of we just felt like we needed to get a lot of horses involved, and I'll go through why here in a second. So 4 deep, got the winner home in there, $920, good way to kick it off here. Second leg, another decent price, $12.60 winner here. Another leg, we went 4 deep, and like I said, once again, had the feeling we really needed to get a lot of horses included, and we did. I think the 12 was maybe the 3rd or 4th horse on the ticket. All right, let's go on to race 8 here. Again, 4 deep, and we're all over this one. We went 1, 2, 4, 6, and it came in 4, 6, 2. So, if you had to try, you box those 3 up there. You could have done that as well. Of course, this is a pick 4 and 5 product, so not saying that you would have done that, but an 82.65 try there for that one. And boy, really close to getting the 6 Dealing Justice home at a big price. We'll go through why we kind of used all these horses here in just a second. So good here. Didn't have to worry about anything. Didn't have to sweat anything. Came back here with Ginobili in the 5th season as the single, and never a doubt. And decently priced. Not really. Still the favorite, but still $580 on that single. That was a pretty good win payout. Is what I meant to say there. Was not a real short price where you couldn't bet the horse to win. If you loved him, you could bet to win there. And he just kind of outclassed him, and we'll kind of talk about that one in a second as well. He went gate to wire without any problems. And speaking of a nice horse here, we went 3 deep to end this thing. This is Steve Asmussen runner, Shopper's Revenge. We used that horse. We used the number 6, Rocket and Roll for Brad Cox, and then we used the 10, Escapologist for Kenny McPeak. But the Asmussen runner here, Shopper's Revenge, was pretty sharp. A nice little maiden special weight win. And like I said, we'll kind of talk about that horse too when we get to the handicapping side of it. So $96 ticket. We didn't have a lot of worry throughout this one. This was not as stressful as the one on Sunday. I'll talk about in a minute as far as trying to root these horses home. And you see right here on the payouts, $927.30 for this pick 5. We will take it, all day long. And so that was a really good way to kick off Saturday. We got a bigger one we're going to talk about in a minute on Sunday. This was a good one for Saturday. We were very, very pleased with this after some mind-numbing losses over the last couple of weeks. It was nice to get this one home. Had the pick 4 as well. I think I can't remember off the top of my head. It was either $32 or $48 ticket. Pays $190. It was $32 because we singled Ginobili in that. Went 4 deep in the other ones. I remember it now. $32 ticket paid $197.85. So a nice little pick 4 too to go along with this. So pretty good here. Getting home. A little over $1,000 profit was a pretty nice way to end the day at Oaklawn. All right, let's go to the handicapping aspect of it now. Let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger for you guys. There you go. Get a little bigger here. This is race 6. This kicked it off. I said we went 1, 2, 3, and 4 here to kick this thing off in race 6. And it was just a situation where I think a lot of people really liked Ash Flat in this spot. I don't remember exactly. It looks like 6-5 is what that horse went off at. And I get it. I get why. We had this horse on the ticket, winner of 2 in a row. Won an allowance race last time out. I think my biggest problem with why I didn't just go this horse and that's it, won the allowance, and now we're dropping down to the 30K level. I didn't like that, especially for a guy like Chris Hartman. He knows what he's doing. I think that this horse would have been doing, I don't know, a little bit better. Maybe we're in an allowance race. Sometimes it's just like, well, we want to run the horse back. But sometimes we see that drop. They may want to get rid of that horse. Horse may not be doing quite as good as they were. So anyway, we did not end up going short here. We went with that 4 deep. And I'll scroll back up to the results here. You see the horse ran okay. Go back and watch the replay. You can watch it. Ran fine, but no better than third. And third does you no good in pick 4s and pick 5s. We know that firsthand. All right, let's go back here to some other ones we used here. We used the 3. Another horse, this, okay, let's look at this one. So came out of that same race as Ash Flat, right, and was nowhere to be found. But this is a logical next step down, right? The horse was horrible in that race. Now we're in the claiming level. Makes sense. That's a normal drop. Did we waste money playing this horse? Yes, because he didn't do anything. But still, we just kind of thought, well, this was a normal drop, and this is kind of one of those Oaklawn-type horses that will come in and beat you sometimes. So we wanted to get him involved. The 4 full impact, a horse running first off the claim off of Diodoro, but it's only 15 days ago, so we thought the horse could hold the form. Had some really nice numbers coming into this race. Obviously, for Diodoro, they usually do. But anyway, threw that one on there. And then the number 1 Impressed, who won the race. And again, we're going to talk about it. Carl Broberg, second off the claim for Broberg, is obviously pretty good angle. Broberg ran this horse against allowance horses at Hawthorne. And, he did okay. He got third. This is a logical drop in class. Now, if that horse would have won that allowance race and now we're here for $30,000, it kind of makes you question it just a bit, like we're talking with Ash Flat, where that's a weird drop in class. This one is one that made sense. So class dropper made sense, and the class dropper wins. Carl Broberg kicks us off with a winner that, like I said, it pays $920. All right, let's go to that 7th race here. We went 4 deep again, 1, 7, 8, and 12. Arkansas bred, $30,000 maiden claiming. You kind of just pick and pray with a lot of these races. These are the type that will knock you plumb out. There's no rhyme to reason a lot of times to what happens in these races. But here's a guy you can always count on. He usually has really good Arkansas breds. That's Ron Moquette. If you don't know Ron Moquette, really good trainer, sharp guy, and has his horses ready to run at Oaklawn Park. He lives right behind the track. This is his home track, just like it's my home track. And he usually has them ready to go. He had a first-time starter here, Betty Joe, who ended up winning this race. And we just looked at it and said, Ron Moquette, first-time starter, Bejarano aboard, definitely a must-use for us. Horse by Arkansas Derby winner Danza. So that was interesting that he was decided this horse. But anyway, that's why we used the 12, because of old Ronnie Boy there. The 7, Bradley Pink, Brad Cox, another one. And Brad Cox has an Arkansas bred. They usually are decent, ready to run, nicely bred. This one was, and we had to use that horse. The 1, Oaklawn kind of has 2 different sets of trainers in some regards. And a guy like Prather, he's kind of got mostly Arkansas breds. If it's an open bred race, you're a little bit worried. Arkansas bred, don't have any trouble playing with him. This horse had shown some that last workout for an Arkansas bred was pretty fast. So kind of thought the horse had a little bit of talent. Wanted to get him involved, get her involved, I should say. Horse was by Lori's Rocket, a pretty good sprinter that now stands at Arkansas. So we kind of got that 1 involved too. So 3 horses there that had never started before. And we did 1 more that had never started before. And this is another Arkansas-type trainer, Al Cates. He's a guy that, like I said, he'll have some good Arkansas breds every once in a while. Gets Kelsey Hart a ride. Didn't hate that at all. Another one, again, I say it, and I'm not trying to slight the Arkansas breds, but they are a little bit slower. Had some works for Arkansas breds that weren't too bad. So we went all first-time starters in this race. Why? Well, you look at some of these horses that had started. They're not great. The one we did think about here was this one here for Carl DeVille. Ran against Baden Special Weight on debut, 9th, beating 23 lengths. Now we're getting up to the Baden claiming, or going down, I should say, the Baden claiming ranks. So thought maybe we get that horse involved, but we ended up not. We ended up just going that 4 deep, right? Yeah, you look at the results. There's a 12, and there's our 8 right there in second as well. And boy, that 8 would have been great. A big price compared to the winner, but the winner still pays $12.60. That's good enough for us. A couple of our other first-time starters, Relentless Rocket has got 5th down here. And Brad Cox's horse did nothing, second to last in this one. So don't know where they'll put that horse next. But, yeah, we had the top 2 here. We would have loved the 8, but we'll take the 12 and then go on. That is an example, though. If the 8 wins this thing, it could pay 4 or 5 times as much. So it's an example of in these Arkansas bred races, you can get some prices sometimes, and they're not – okay, let me put it this way. You can make some sense with some of the bigger prices if you kind of know the local trainers. Now, some of these Arkansas bred races, you get a horse in and you're like, yeah, I never could have had it. The 8 was pretty playable if you follow Oaklawn and you know the trainers and you know their tendencies with Arkansas breds. So anyway, long story short, nobody cares about Arkansas breds probably that's listening. But anyway, all right, third leg here, another one we went 4 deep with the 1, the 2, the 4, and the 6. Almost went shorter and just played this 1 and the 2. We really liked Love Me Some Me. You see one of the higher spotlight numbers, and then the 2 Portilla, 2 horses we did like. But at the end of the day, we liked Ginobili a lot. We thought, well, we can go a little bit deeper because we're going to single elsewhere. So we went 1, 2, 4, and 6. Like I said, we came in 4, 6, and 2. The one we almost went real short with, it's second to last. So glad we didn't do that. A little speed and fade there for him. Whoops, keep going back to Sunday. All right, Hazy Command, that's the horse that won. Why did we use him? Well, pretty simple. Tom Amos is a pretty darn good trainer. Rafael Bejarano's riding very well at Oaklawn. The horse won an allowance last time out by 3. Seemed like a really easy use. So Hazy Command, pretty simple use there. Love Me Some Me, a horse that was going from Drury to Brad Cox. So we, obviously that's good angle. And also, listen, the horse has been hitting the board in all kinds of stakes and allowances coming into this one. Thought this was a really, really good spot for the horse. Didn't run her best, but still going into it, we really like that horse. The 2 Portilla, a horse coming out of Stakes Company and 2 races back, had won an allowance for Al Stall. So again, another one that was just seems like a pretty logical use here. Always around, always hitting the board, doing good things there. And then Dealing Justice, this was an interesting horse. Riley Mott takes over the training here and had been on the NYRA circuit. I wouldn't call them great races. I mean, 4th beaten 6, 3rd beaten 7 up at Saratoga, got beat by Goodnight Olive. I mean, that's a pretty darn good horse. Would have won this by multiple lengths. Back here at Belmont, 2nd. So had been around in these allowance races. I don't know. I just thought this was kind of the odd horse, right? Thought Riley Mott getting a hold of this horse would help maybe a bit, and ran okay. Looky here, got 2nd. Said horse was 14-1. It's another situation. We ran 2nd here, and boy, if we would have ran 1st, this thing could have really, really jacked up. So thought the 6 ran well, just couldn't get it done. Hazy Command made too much sense in this race. Like I said, you win an allowance by 3, come right back in a similar race. Hard not to use that horse. All right, let's go to the single in the 9th. It is the 5th season. I think people looked at this race and did one of 2 things. Looked at it and said, boy, there's a ton of contenders here, and we're going to go deep, or Ginobili stands out, and we're going to single. And I think for us, it was a class issue with the rest of these horses comparative to Ginobili, and I'll go through why. So Ginobili was the single, and you just look at some of the races this horse has been in. Won a race like the Pat O'Brien, a grade 2 race, won an allowance by 9 at Del Mar. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile ran 2nd to Life is Good. I have so much respect for these horses that were in this race with him, like our Rated R Superstar, our King Fury, all of these, Run and Ray, Heart Rhythm. These are my horses. This is the Silver Prospector. These are horses that, I follow, but Ginobili just seemed better to me. Just seemed a bit more classier. Didn't run well in Cigar Mile. Came back for new trainer Peter Miller, second in an allowance at Del Mar, going 6 furlongs. That felt an awful lot like just a prep to get him going. And also, he damn near won the race, and Get Her Number was the horse that beat him, and he came back to run very well in Cigar Mile. So just thought this horse was ready, getting back to that 2-turn mile, short stretch at Oaklawn 2. Thought he could use that speed, get away from him, and they couldn't close on him. And that's what he did. He dominated this race, and this was, when you single horses, that's how you want them to win. All right, let's go to the 10th and the final here. We went 3, 6, 10. We used the big trainers. As a maiden special weight, just felt like one of these big trainers were going to win here. The 3 highest, 2 of the 3 highest numbers as far as these spotlight numbers as well. We went, the Asmussen horse who wins it here, Shopper's Revenge. On debut, got second, was beaten, 7 1/4, got beat by Determinedly, who didn't run very well last time out at Fairgrounds, but I still think that horse might be okay. So I just thought coming out of that race, this horse would run much better. And boy, did he. He ran fantastic. I think he really liked the stretch out. And listen, this horse is by Tappet out of Stop Charging Maria. You guys know that horse, pretty good horse. And I think this Shopper's Revenge is pretty good. I would keep an eye out for this one. Did not expect him to run as well as he did. Let's put it that way, but I'm glad he did. Rockin' and Roll for Brad Cox, the other one, one of the other ones we used here, really improved second out, going a mile. Now we're going to mile 16th. Just thought the horse could improve again. So had to get that one involved. Escapologist, and this was paying I think $2 or $3 grand if Escapologist would have won here. Another one, just kind of, McPeak horse has been running really good. This horse has been around in 3 starts. Just kind of thought the horse might run pretty well here in the spot. Thought it might be a little bit easier spot than these other ones that he had been in. Turns out it really wasn't, because Shopper's Revenge ran so well. But just thought we'd get this McPeak horse involved, had the budget to do it. And it's a situation. If we didn't have the budget to do it, maybe we would have only went too deep here, but we just felt like we could get it done. So anyway, and as you scroll down here, there's Ginobili, like I said, and then Shopper's Revenge gets the job done. Go back and watch this one. Pretty good race. I'll be honest, I have not looked up what kind of time form or buyer he got for this one, but I thought it was a good race for Shopper's Revenge. I think this is one maybe to keep an eye on. So anyway, like I said, 5 out of 5, 927.30 for this one. Pretty good payout there. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. I'll take that off the screen, and let's go to Sunday. So the late pick 5 on Sunday, I'll put it on the screen there, and I'll also share the ticket for you up on the big board here. If I can hit the right buttons, I'll do that for you. So Sunday, a bigger payout, a little bit different, $96 ticket, but let's see, that's not it. Hold on. $96 ticket, but we definitely got there in a much different way, is how I would describe it. We did not have a single on this ticket, so our opinions had to be a little bit more spot on because of it. There it is, 5, 7, 9, 10. So 4 deep with 3 deep with 2 with 2 with 4. So $96, same thing. Just couldn't find a single. I know some people, if you talk to them about these, they're going to tell you have to have a single, or you should always have a single. I don't necessarily agree with that logic. I think it is definitely best to have a single. And when you are really confident, you need to single. Don't ever, say the Ginobili situation, go, I think he's the best horse by a mile, but I'll play another horse in here just in case. Don't do that. But don't force an absolute, I have to have a single every sequence either. It's okay if you don't. It's okay to kind of, for lack of a better word, don't force it. I mean, that's really just the best way you can do it. If you're really confident on a horse, single out a horse. If you're not, try to go short and hope that those opinions are a little bit tighter and they come in that way, because it's bad when you try to force anything in racing, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I would say there. All right, enough of that. Let's go to the screen here. Like I said, we did not try to force a single. We tried to go as logical as we could go here. So I could put this up as I'm wasting time. There it is. All right, so we went 4 deep to kick it off. We used the 5 there, a 780 payout to start it off. We were pretty happy with this one because the other horses that were kind of around the 5 we didn't have. So this was a good race and a good win for us early. Second leg on the card, another 780 winner. We went 3 deep here. Really not much of a worry that 1 and the 6 battling it out there. 6 gets the job done, so we're 2 for 2 without a lot of stress. Now we're going to the short part of the ticket, right? 2 races in a row, we're going 2 deep. And this was a nice one. This was top pick winner here. So, the case we made, well, you could have singled right here for sure, but this really wasn't the one we were considering. It was the next race. But the 7 gets it done, the 2 is second. And they kind of just ran away from everybody in this race and really made you feel good. It's like, okay, we're 2 by 4. You got to get by another skinny leg, but our opinions have been really, really sharp. And trust me, if you followed the early pick 5, you didn't think the late pick 5 was going to do much because we weren't even close to the early pick 5, but that's how this goes sometimes. Feeling pretty good. Opinions were pretty sharp. Go to this one. We use the 1-2. The 1-2 comes in. And so, man, again, no stress. We've got 4 races, no stress. It looked really, really nice, and we were flying high as we got this one home. We were thinking about singling 4 left, and thank God we didn't, because we would have been knocked out right there. So 2 deep worked out. And then in this leg, this was a scary one. The 1 missing curfew for Diodoro has to fend off the 13 who drew in the race after a scratch. And boy, it looked like 13 was going to go right by, and Miss Curfew would not be denied and kind of re-rallied. Got it done. A $13.40 payout here. And check this one out. $96 ticket. Returns $1,636.90. This was a big one for us. We really worked hard to get this one. Another thing we did, and I always tell people, hopefully everybody looked, always check back about an hour and a half to an hour before first post, because we update these with scratches. Now, if there's a scratch after that hour mark, we don't update them, because then it kind of gets a little bit dicey. But we always tell people that first wave of scratches, that these things are going to get updated. We were 4 deep in that second leg, and one of the horses scratched. So we just left it 167, and then we added the 1 in that last leg because we were just 3 deep in the last leg. So we were able to add the 1 because of a scratch in the second leg, and it was able to work out. Kept us under that $96 or under that $100 budget, and kept it at 96. And then look at this, a $1,600.36 90 payout. Super, super excited to get this one home. All right, let's go through here and let's go to the handicapping aspect of this. We'll kick it off race 5. And another one of our Arkansas bred maiden claiming 30,000. And as you see, same kind of thing. We went 4 deep. We just use 4 and pray, like I said the last time. So this was a little bit different. As I scroll down here, the dashes here mean that they're first-time starters. They don't have numbers assigned to them. Not a lot of first-time starters here that we liked or we thought was worth using, or maybe the works weren't exactly where we wanted them. We did use the 10 for Brad Cox. Same kind of situation here. Just kind of felt like this horse would be ready to go for Brad first out. Not the case. Horse didn't run very well. And then we used some horses that had ran. The winner here, the 5. This one made a lot of sense. And this is another trainer, guys. If you're playing Oaklawn, think about Ernie Witt a little bit with these Arkansas bred races. He's a guy that is owner, breeder of most of his horses. This horse got 5th, beaten 12 on debut, but it was against special weight company. Now we're going down to the 30K level. Seems like it made a lot of sense. Like I said, Ernie Witt with Arkansas breds, not too bad. He usually has a couple decent ones. So we thought that one would be a use. Lynn Claberard, another one, you're going to see her up at Iowa a lot with Iowa bred. You see her with Arkansas bred. You see her with open horses too. All around really good trainer. Another one, 5th in an Arkansas bred, maiden special weight on debut. Now we're going to be a little bit more logical with this spotting. A horse by Wicked Strong, which was interesting for Arkansas bred. So we thought about that, or we used that one. And then the 9 KJ's Legacy. Had 2 starts under the belt. Thought that was a little bit of an advantage. And neither one of them were very good, but we were dropping in class here big time, kind of like the other ones. So we used those 3 with the Cox first-time starter. And like I'm saying, we never really considered the 2 or the 11. And they get up there, and they're the biggest threat to the winner of the 5. So these Arkansas-bred races sometimes can get a little bit crazy. Some of our other runners, the 7 was 4th. Didn't think that horse ran all that bad. The Cox horse on debut was 5th. Might look for that one next out. KJ's Legacy just didn't do much, and so that horse just might be slow. Hate to say that, but that may be the case. Anyway, we get through here with the Ernie Witt runner, and like I said, one more thing. Again, if you're playing Oaklawn, you're going to run into these Arkansas bred races almost every sequence. They're kind of their own little circuit, and so you might look at Ernie Witt if you're just looking at trainer percentages and go, I don't know, 10% overall the last year, 8% at Oaklawn. I don't have a lot of interest. If it's an Arkansas bred race, please just always kind of pause, because it's kind of its own little thing. And that's a big key to cashing at Oaklawn, is kind of understanding who are the quote unquote Arkansas bred trainers to really take a look at. And Ernie Witt usually does a fantastic job with the stock that he has. So, you got Arkansas bred horses mainly. You're not going to win at high percentages. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. Okay. All right. Next race here, starter allowance one here. And we use the 167, the 1, the 6 right there. Pretty easy to kind of explain these starter allowances. I usually our spots, you can go a little bit shorter. I kind of call them stakes races, kind of for claimers in a way. You can run your claimer and it's protected. We used the 1 Shell Shock. 1 at the 30K level, got claimed from Steve Asmussen, now running for Hartman, who's having a really good meet at Oaklawn. So that seemed like an easy use. Hartley, we talked about Lynn Kalleward, didn't we, in the last one? And we talked about she's got all kinds of horses, Arkansas breds, Iowa breds, and Open Company. Here's a Kentucky bred who coming off a layoff, but I don't really worry about that with Lynn. She's a good horseman. She'll have that horse ready to go. And look at this horse. In the starter allowance ranks, after running in 3 straight stakes races, ran pretty good in 2 of them, and then just kind of ran over your head there in the Iowa Oaks. But Lynn was at Iowa, and that was a target for her, so I don't blame her for putting her in the race. Gave her some time, comes back, good win for Lynn Kalleward. So, like I said, really good horseman, nice win. Another trainer there at Oaklawn you want to keep an eye out on. And then we used the 7, So It Would Seem, coming out of that California circuit. Now to Oaklawn, Peter Miller, let's just face it. When Peter Miller shows up, you're usually pretty scared of him. So we use that horse as well. Peter can only get 4th here as the good guys win this one. Lynn Kalleward, good girls, I should say, with a nice win. All right, we went 2-7 in this leg, the 7th race, 3rd leg. Like I said, 7 was the top choice here, coming out of all these synthetic races, but had some back class, back on the dirt here. Broke the maiden at Oaklawn the last time that he had started here. Ran pretty decent in an allowance, and then just was not good in an allowance at all. Tried the turf, tried the synthetic. It wasn't for him. I thought getting back to the dirt and dropping down in class, he'd be awfully tough. Another really good trainer in Ortiz. So really liked him. The 2 Right Tone. Another one just kind of dropping in class for a good trainer in Joe Sharp. Thought he'd be tough. That's really the only 2 we thought we needed pretty much all along. We agreed 2-7. That's all you need here. They run well. And like I said, they kind of galloped out away from everybody. Really liked Great Heart in that spot. He got it done on a day where my top choice didn't do much. He at least got it done there. All right, next leg, race 8 on the card here. Another starter allowance. We went 1-2. It came in 1-2. We had 4 left on top. First off the claim again for Hartman. I've been running it against open allowance horses and just kind of getting waxed the last couple. Dropping down to that starter allowance ranks. Pretty big drop. Horse ran well, got 2nd, but was beaten by this horse, Full Authority. Another one coming out of a stakes company. You look at these races. Last time this horse was in a open allowance, was able to win. 2 in a row there. Another allowance win. Tried stakes company, didn't go well. Now we're off of a layoff, but wasn't too worried about that. came back, good spot, good win. Was able to get the job done. 4 Left was close, but Full Authority just a little bit better on this day. The 7 Digital, that's a horse we nearly used. Tried to kind of rework it, maybe think about using him. Had him on the ticket, before we posted it and changed it. Ran pretty well, and at the top of the stretch, I was really worried Digital was going to run by R2, but didn't. So thankful for that. All right, let's go to the last one here. The 9th race on the card. It's the last one. So a 3-year-old maiden claimer. We went 4 deep, 1, 9, 10, 11. I'll skip the 1 for now. The 9, 10, 11. Another first timer here for Brad Cox with the 11. Obviously, just going to put that horse on the ticket. Don't want to get beat by Cox. We really liked the 9 quite a bit. And this was the one we thought would probably get the job done. The second last time out at this level at Churchill Downs. It just kind of felt like this horse had the experience. Santana aboard again. Had some races. That last race was pretty darn good. Thought that horse would get it done. Didn't do it. Didn't really run very well. The 9, 10, or 11, none of them ran that well. The 10, dropped in class last time out and improved. Dropping in class again, thought can improve. Another Brad Cox horse, didn't have to really explain there. So the last horse on the ticket after the scratches was either going to be the 1 or the 13. And spoiler alert, it came in 1-13. So I was about ready to jump off a cliff midway through the stretch because the 13 looked like it was going to go right by. Didn't do it. Why did we use the 1? Well, Diodoro is the number 1 reason. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's so good at Oaklawn. You look at this horse. Diodoro obviously thought highly of the horse to debut in a maiden special weight at Churchill. Didn't run well, but showed potential. Like got the lead and just faded. Don't see the horse in 203 days, and that kind of made me think, well, maybe got out there, got the lead. Maybe there was a little injury, a little something happened. You never know. Now we're going down and we're dropping in class, but we're still running for $75,000 tag. So I think if Diodoro didn't like this colt, would have put in for 20 or 30 just as easy. But in for 75, a good spot. Look up here at the pace projections. Looks like the horse is going to be on the lead. Maiden claimer's on the lead. Diodoro, I just thought the 1 made more sense than the 13. Let's look at the 13 though. Had a lot of races here. And had been close a couple times, ran pretty well. It's pretty similar company. But 7 days, I don't know. Coming back on 7 days rest, I wasn't sure. So I thought the 1 was a safer play. 13 looks like going to go right on by. The 1 re-rallies about mid-stretch and puts that horse away. I'm pretty sure for at least 100 yards in the stretch, the 13 had a slight lead. It's hard to say with Oaklawn and the camera angles, but and boy, was I mad. But yeah, anyway, the 1 is able to re-rally, get the job done for Diodoro. 1340 payout. I think he was the 3rd highest payer for us here. And like I said, 1636.90 for that pick 5. Really, really good return and made for a great week for us. So, hitting those back-to-back pick 5s, late pick 5s on Saturday and Sunday at Oaklawn, big time for us. So, all right. That's that, guys. That's what we got this week for the Rockets. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully we can keep it going. A couple of last comments before we go. We did hit a couple at Aqueduct for smaller amounts. Boy, Gulfstream really starting to piss me off. A lot of 4 out of 5s. A couple times thought we had it this week. Didn't get it. I think, hopefully I'm right about this. Last week I said there's tickets with our names on them coming up this week after the depressing show. I'll make a prediction this week. I think there's a Gulfstream ticket with our name on it coming up this week. I really believe it. We've been too close not to cash one. I think we're going to cash one this week. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. I think Gulfstream, we're going to get one, hopefully. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching this video. It was a happier one this week. I'm happy about that. We'll be back next week, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next week.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.